Hi folks, Max from RootGalaxyNote.com. Today I'm going to show you how to install Android 4.4 KitKat custom ROMs on your GTN 7000 Galaxy Note. It is slightly different from regular install because with Android 4.4 KitKat, Google has changed some things around. So you do need the latest version of Clockwork My Recovery. Now, since this particular version of Note, the recovery is part of the kernel. Unlike the AT&T version, recovery is separate, which you can go ahead and install recovery separately and not have to worry about it. But for this phone, you will have to reinstall the recovery every time you want to install a new KitKat ROM. The reason is that recovery is part of the kernel. So what I did is I took the latest version of CM10.2 and I took out the kernel from there and I put it into zip file. You can flash in whatever Clockwork twerp recovery you have. So you can go ahead and flash that before you install a KitKat ROM. But by flashing this kernel with the latest version of Clockwork My Recovery, it will make whatever ROM you're running, it will make it put it into boot loop. So definitely you'll only want to use this right when you install the ROM. So let me go ahead and show you how to do this. To install a new KitKat ROM, you'll need to get a kernel with the latest Clockwork Mod recovery, or you can go ahead and grab this zip file I made, N7000 Clockwork Mod CWM KitKat compatible.zip, and go ahead and download the ROM you want to install. In this example, I'm going to go ahead and install Omni ROM, which has the latest Android 4.4 KitKat. And also you'll need the latest Android 4.4 Google apps. So I've got the PA G apps 4.4. That's the Google apps you need for Android 4.4. So you will also have to have a rooted Note, obviously, or with a custom ROM, because they usually all come with some kind of custom recovery. And so I'm going to go ahead and reboot into my current recovery. You can go ahead and use your menu button. If you have a quick shortcut to get into it, use that, or you can go ahead and turn your phone off and hold down volume up, center, home, and power for about 5 seconds or so until your phone powers up and it goes into whatever recovery you have. And I'm not sure what this ROM has. Actually, I do have the KitKat ROM on here. But it actually has a twerp recovery on there. So it'll work perfect for my example here. So whatever recovery you have, if you have Clockwork My Recovery, the menus might be different. Choose the install from SD card option and go ahead and find the Clockwork My Recovery, or the N7000 CWM KitKat compatible.zip. Go ahead and find that, install it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and install it on my twerp recovery because I have twerp recovery. And go ahead and if you go to advanced menus for Clockwork My Recovery, there should be a reboot into recovery, or you can just pull the battery out and do it manually also. But I'm going to go ahead and just reboot into recovery from my twerp recovery, and this will give me the new recovery since I just flashed the kernel, CM10.2 kernel that has the latest Clockwork My Recovery. So I should be on Clockwork My Recovery 6.0.4.5. There you go. As long as you have Clockwork My 6.0.4.3 and higher, you can actually install KitKat ROMs. And if you do have that already, you don't have to install this. But most custom ROMs, as of this video, have a really old version or have twerp. And twerp is not going to work if you're going to install KitKat ROMs. So once you're here, everything is just regular install. I'm going to do data wipe factory reset and just install as normal, but I'll walk you through here. And I am formatting, and I'm going to go ahead and use the install zip option. And depending on where you put your files, choose the appropriate. If you do have a SD card inserted, it might have another option. But I'm going to go ahead and install zip from SD card 0 here, which is the internal storage. And I'm going to go ahead and find the file that I showed you earlier, which is in my download folder. I'm going to go ahead and find Omni 4.4 blah blah.zip. This is my KitKat ROM. And I'm going to go ahead and install the latest version of, or the Google apps for Android 4.4. reboot, and you should be all good to go. Now, when you install a new ROM, it will also install a new recovery. So that's why I made this video, in case you get a new recovery. Then you can go ahead and repeat this process when you're installing a new KitKat ROM. So just this, the GTN 7000 and also the Galaxy S2 i90-100 has this type of recovery, where recovery is part of the kernel, and it's been causing headaches for years. And that is why, starting with the S3, S4, Note 3, they all have separate recovery partitions, which is how Android designed it, to have separate recovery. But for some reason, with this phone, Samsung decided to put it along with the kernel, which caused headaches. And another reason I have to make this tutorial video, so people can install KitKat ROMs. So this is almost done, and we will be going shortly here. But for those of you who've never dealt with this, that's how it works. Kernel and recovery is together. So whenever also a ROM is composed of a kernel and system files. So when you install a new ROM, you're essentially changing whatever kernel you have, whatever recovery you have. So that's how it works. But in the future, when there's a lot of KitKat ROMs, this should be not a case. Next, go ahead and install the Google Apps. So I'm going to go ahead and choose PAG Apps Full 4.4. This is the Google Apps for all kinds of Android 4.4 KitKat ROMs. It's actually from Paranoid Android, but they're the first ones that offer Google Apps for Android 4.4. That's why we're using it. And it is compatible with any Android 4.4 KitKat ROM. And once this is done, we will reboot, and we should have the latest OmniROM 4.4 KitKat running on our GTN 7000. And I will actually stay on here just to show you that all the processes, for those of you new to doing this. And again, this is only for this phone. For other phones, like the newer phones like the S4, you just have to update ClockMart Recovery using ROM Manager app. You can just do it on your phone and and that's it. You only have to install recovery once. But with this phone, recovery is always changing. So that is done. Hit go back, reboot system now, and you should be on the latest KitKat. And we'll let the film roll until we get the welcome screen, just to make sure it installed correctly. And yeah, so it should be coming on here. And as far as KitKat for AT&T Note, it should be coming soon, since it's already on the N7000. And OmniROM OmniROM and CM11 are the two Android custom ROMs that's been building Android 4.4 the quickest, and also Beanstalk. But they're basically built from the sources, and there may be problems in the initial versions, but for this one, everything is working out of the box, except for the camcorder, and also video replay such as YouTuber videos. So which is kind of sucks, but by next week or 2 weeks from now, there should be stable builds with everything working. So very exciting stuff. And you know what? I will be back. I will leave the film running so you can see how long it takes for this ROM to actually boot. Basically Android 4.4 KitKat brings optimizations to lower-end devices. Well, it's gonna actually make your phone faster on a phone such as this one. This is what, like 2 years old, and this is great news for people with even older phones like the S2 or the Nexus S. KitKat is just gonna make everything faster. Unlike iPhones, one time, I think last year, I upgraded like an iPhone 4. So one of my friends asked me to upgrade it or something, so I upgraded to the latest iOS 6 or something back then, and then it just made the phone crawl. It wasn't optimized, so it's like the opposite of what what Google is doing now. So it's an exciting news, and I'm sure with Keyline Pi, it's gonna get even better and better. That's one thing I really like about what Google is doing. So you know what? I'll be back when this is done. Hi folks, that actually took another minute. I got a small force close there, but not a problem. Sometimes that happens when you install a new ROM, as long as it doesn't keep happening. If you keep seeing force close, what you can do is try reinstalling the ROM. And if you go for clock from recovery, if you go to mounts and storage, there's an option for format/system. That will erase all the system files cleanly, and that'll give you sort of a clean install and get rid of any kind of force closes. It happens to me like once every out of 100 ROMs, then I do that and it fixes everything. Anyway, I've got 4.4 KitKat running, and you can use this method to install any Android 4.4 KitKat custom ROMs on your Galaxy Note GTN 7000. And as always, if this video has helped you install KitKat ROM on your GTN 7000, don't forget to subscribe to my email list at rootgalaxynote.com. We update you once a week with ROM of the Week tips, hacks, and more. And thanks guys for watching my video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and the subscribe button below here to get more cool ROM reviews, tips, tricks, and more. And also check out Video of the Week over here if you haven't yet. And as always, stay on Android.